Hey everybody, how's it going? A lot of you have been sending me a link to a Wired article about McDonald's and an ice cream machine. So let's talk about McDonald's and the ice cream machine. I'm not going to read the entire article because I imagine by linking me to this that you have read the article or watched the associated videos. I'm just going to go over the quick points and then we're going to discuss my perspective. So the story here is that there is a McDonald's ice cream machine that is always broken, that I wasn't aware of because I never eat at McDonald's or eat ice cream. I'm a bit puffy at the moment, and ice cream's not going to help me with that. Now, there is a password that you need to get to a secret menu in this ice cream machine that you're not able to get to. The machine itself is $18,000. And there was a company, just a couple, that started a company, and they came up with this little device that you could attach inside the ice cream machine. And it would communicate with the ice cream machine, knowing the code to get access to the internal data. And it would use the communications back and forth to be able to give you an idea of when this thing was going to die and what was actually broken, so that you would not have to pay for an incredibly expensive service call where someone comes by and types in the secret code into the machine and is able to get access to the diagnostic information. Many of the franchises thought that this was a useful tool, and they purchased it. And soon thereafter, McDonald's sent its franchisees a warning that the company breached the machine's confidential information and could cause serious human injury. It's a fucking ice cream machine. All the franchisees that they spoke to agreed that the notion that this tool could cause harm to humans was far-fetched, if not impossible. The commands don't affect moving parts, and Taylor's own manual tells anyone servicing or disassembling the device to unplug it before working on it. Now, one of the points in the article, it says Taylor sells a machine with these technical demands to businesses where they'll ultimately be run by a bored teenager whose fast food career is measured in weeks. So perhaps it's no surprise that many McDonald's restaurants' ice cream machines seem to be broken. There's a website that automatically tries to place orders for ice cream at all these restaurants. At any given time, 5 to 16% of all the McDonald's in the United States are incapable of selling ice cream. That's how often this machine breaks down. The company said, "We understand it's frustrating for customers when they come to McDonald's for a frozen treat and our shake machines are down, and we're committed to doing better," a spokesperson wrote. At one point, while in Shenzhen, O'Sullivan wrote to a contact at Taylor to ask for advice about a technical question they were stuck on. The Taylor executive wrote back that if you want to tap into the controls or sniff data packets, it will have to be done without the assistance of Taylor at this time due to our current security policies. It's a fucking ice cream machine. It makes ice cream. Kitsch doesn't prevent them from breaking, the name of the tool, but it helps people diagnose why it's broken. It was positively mentioned at conferences of McDonald's franchisees, and they all wanted to buy one. McDonald's sent an email to franchisees saying it voided their warranties, and that Kitsch allows access to confidential data. It's a fucking ice cream machine! This is not going to get you access to your credit score. It is not going to get access to your financial and leasing information. And unlike John Deere, you're not going to be able to get access to exactly how people are using tractors to farm and create the food that we all eat because you're able to hack into their horribly insecure system. It's an ice cream machine. Again, remember the Massachusetts Right to Repair commercials where they were going over how if people are able to read the diagnostic codes from the car, that means that someone is going to be able to track you to a parking garage and beat you up, or hack into the garage door opener in your house because they have access to the diagnostic code for your car. That means they'll be able to break into your home and beat you up. Remember that when Ford and GM and Honda and Toyota and Nissan all paid about $25 million to Coalition and Safe and Secure Data so that they could come up with that? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? They tried to keep Taylor from purchasing it. Taylor's the company that makes this horrible device. And this is where it gets a bit interesting. They tried to keep them from purchasing it when they saw that the addresses of the people purchasing it appeared to be people who worked for the company or the address of the company. And eventually they started to just, out of paranoia, research the addresses of all the companies that were buying their device. And it looked like people from Taylor's law firm and employees of an intellectual property private investigator law firm were purchasing this device, which is interesting. And at the end of the day, they wound up coming up with an interesting similar tool to what they were producing, effectively, putting them out of business. So at the same time that Taylor wound up coming up with their own tool that did something similar to this device, which I imagine from the article they had purchased with the sole purpose of reverse engineering and copying, that seems to happen at the same time that McDonald's emailed all of their franchises and said, you shouldn't use this, safety, security, safety, security, safety, security. And what I think is interesting here is the realization that we have gone far past the whole quote, which comes up in my comments all the time, right to repair, I'll solve it today. Just don't buy Apple. Just don't buy Apple. Just ignore the fact that companies like in the car industry like Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Ford, and General Motors put $25 million into fear-mongering commercials to try to get you to vote down a bill that allows your local mechanic to be able to read the diagnostic codes on your vehicle. Ignore the fact that companies like Tesla go to every single measure besides doing something like that to keep you from being able to work on your vehicle. Ignore the fact that every single laptop manufacturer that I've ever seen does not allow you to purchase a schematic. Every single cell phone manufacturer does not allow you to do this. Tractors are not fixable. Home appliances are not fixable. Ice cream machines have come up with ways to password lock you out and try and fearmonger using safety and security arguments on ice cream as to why it is you should not use a device that makes it easier to repair it. The takeaway from this article to me, and the point that I hope I get across to my audience, is that we are far past the point in our culture where it's just don't avoid this one company, just avoid this one device, and you will be able to be happy. There's this idea, well, okay, Apple that makes a phone that's not difficult to repair, just don't buy Apple. I own an LG phone. I can't buy a schematic from LG. They're not going to sell me it. And, again, I like Motorola phones. I have a Motorola phone over here as well that I used to use. And, again, if I ask Motorola for a schematic to this, they're going to tell me to, either ignore me or tell me to go F myself, as with every manufacturer. The point here is that the culture has slid so far off the deep end when it comes to repairability that even your ice cream machine manufacturer is trying to propagandize you into believing that your safety and security are at risk for serious bodily harm if you're able to read a diagnostic code in a fucking ice cream machine. That's how far we've slipped as a society. And the reason that right to repair is important is not simply because I talk about Apple products. It's not. It's not simply because Rich Rebuilds talks about Tesla. It's not simply because people at that do the farming stuff talk about John Deere. This is something that is endemic to every single new device in our society. We live in a time where everybody is going for the recurring revenue bundle, or the rundle. So there's this idea in economics, and there's this idea in the stock market, that if you sell a product with a subscription service, that you will trade at a higher PE, price to earnings ratio, than if you simply sell a product. If you can get some sort of recurring revenue, if you can showcase recurring revenue, your company immediately, regardless of its actual profitability, regardless of the numbers, just becomes more profitable to analysts, to banks, to people on Wall Street. And that is what is driving this idea in every single industry. Again, what is it that the ice cream machine has in common with the farm tractor, which has in common with a washing machine, that has in common with a cell phone, that has in common with a car? Every single one of these devices is being created by a company that wants to increase their valuation by creating a subscription-based model. And sometimes they're upfront about the fact that they want to make a subscription-based model. Sometimes they're not. But it's important for us to see what's going on. And once you see what's going on, you can't unsee it. If this was something that we found out in 1970 or 1980 or 1983, maybe we'd be able to solve this by just saying, just avoid this one product from this one company, or even just avoid this one industry. But it's 2021. Most of us didn't notice, myself included. I didn't notice this as a problem until it was way too late. And most people have not noticed it until it's way too late. And we're very close to that point where we're right about to go off the cliff, where we don't own anything, even the ice cream machine, unless we do something about it. And I would like to do something about it. I'm trying to do something about it. But that starts with getting awareness across to everybody that these arguments that I talk about, the ridiculous arguments that get used about why you can't, have a schematic to a phone or replace a charging port in a phone or, or any stuff like this. They're using the same arguments that they use for a cell phone for a car, and they're using those same arguments on an ice cream machine. These are copied and pasted arguments that have little to no basis in fact, little to no basis in reality, that we would have never accepted many decades ago, but we do now. And I think it's important to ask ourselves why. What has slipped? What do we not notice? How did this happen? And are we going to accept it? That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.